We're going live. And we are live. Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab my headphones. I'm going to give it about like 2 minutes before I start. You feeling a little better there? No?
I'm afraid to stand up, honestly.
All right. So it's been 2 minutes. So we're going to get this started. What's up, Pocket Nation? This is Scotty Pockets, and we're back for another hashtag Pocket Nation. We are bringing it back. I did say in the last update video or stream that I was going to be doing that. And so I figured, we're gonna do this. Pretty much the same setup as always. It's just a chat. People want to come in and talk. This is that time. I also have things to talk about. A list of things. Not everything's gonna be super important. If anybody that has followed my channel since I started, even before the purge of all my videos that I did previously, you know how it works. We talk about things. I mean, we can talk about things that are off topic, as long as there are people in the stream. If there's nobody really in the stream, then pretty much once I get done with my talking points, and then it's the end of the stream. But if people come in, we'll talk. Eventually, I will touch base on everything that I have on my list of things to talk about. And I've had it to where one stream lasted 15 minutes because I literally just breezed through the whole list and there was nobody in the chat. And then there were streams where it was almost 2 hours long and I probably didn't even talk about half the stuff we had on the list. It's just, to me, it got too long. I wanted to smoke a cigarette. And yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm out. Peace. So we didn't touch base on everything. And I generally do, like, if we don't touch base on everything, I generally carry it over to the next stream if we have time. And then I don't have a lot of things to talk about otherwise. I don't see anybody else in the stream. Just looking on here real quick. All right. So yeah. So I'm gonna do some useless plugs, I guess, or shameless plugs. That's the right word. Definitely make sure you guys are hitting up Sixx Asylum. Uh, his stream, his wow, I can't. It's been a while. Make sure you guys are following Sixx Asylum. His link is in the description. I made sure that it was in the description this time. Also, make sure you guys check out the Maximus Kane. He's also on YouTube and on Mixer. His Mixer link is in the description. I didn't put his YouTube channel because he does mostly Mixer, but he, kind of like what I'm doing, but more so on Mixer than YouTube. Both Sixx and Maximus Kane both do wrestling content, just like I do, except for they actually do it on the channel, on their YouTube channels too. They don't do it on, well, Maximus Kane does it on YouTube or Mixer and then translate it over to YouTube, and Sixx Asylum just does it on YouTube. So yeah, make sure you guys are following them. If you really do want to check out Maximus Kane's YouTube channel, I mean, literally all you got to do is type in the Maximus Kane, and you'll get it. I mean, it's usually the first thing that pops up. Anytime I've ever actually had to search for him, it just popped up in the search bar. So yeah, and also if you guys want to follow me on any social medias like Instaham. I do have a Facebook page. I'm going to try to keep that updated somewhat as much as I can. Also, I have a Twitter that should be in the description. If not, then I will end up eventually putting everything in there. Trying to get back into the swing of things with Mixer. I don't have to do nearly as much of work as it does YouTube. Literally, Mixer, I set the title of the stream and then I just stream. With YouTube, I forgot how much more it takes. Because I feel like YouTube is a little more intense, I guess you can say, because generally speaking, as far as the algorithm goes, a title has to make the world, at least as far as easier to search. Your description has to be set up. Because I know that does play a part in the algorithm, is what you put in your description, your tags, all that. Mixer, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, Mixer, it is a little harder to get subscribers, I guess you could say, or followers, as they put it. But I mean, we do we're slowly going up the slope, just like we do on YouTube. Which we have not gotten a new subscriber in a while on YouTube, which is fine. I haven't really been uploading, so it comes with the territory. When Mixer, I generally get a subscriber, at least one follower every stream, give or take. Sometimes none, but yeah. So that's the thing. So make sure, like I said, make sure you guys are following Sixx Asylum and Maximus Kane. Also, my links are in the description if you decide you want to follow me on other social media platforms, even though I don't normally, I guess I'm more of a private guy. I don't normally post anything on these things. Because, I mean, honestly, a lot of people that use those platforms, they got over 1,000 subscribers at least, at the very least. And, they have a good following. I don't, which is okay. I mean, I don't know whether if I'm doing the right thing or not, but this is it's a hobby. This is fun for me. It's not necessarily a job. It's not a job. I don't get paid for this at all. So I do what I got to do and do what I love. All right. So next topic I want to talk about, I've seen a lot of channels do this, and I don't necessarily want to touch too much base on it because I don't really follow a lot along with it. That is the whole thing with the COVID-19. Up until we got put on a stay-at-home order, I'm in Ohio, so we have a stay-at-home order. pretty much once they set that in place, I pretty much stopped checking out the news. I know that was stupid of me, but I started watching a couple of news sections after the whole stay-at-home order was put in place, but it just seemed like the same crap every day. It wasn't like necessarily an update for me as far as what it directly affects me. Like they're saying, oh, we might extend the stay-at-home order, and oh, we're seeing that the stay-at-home order is until May. Oh, maybe we might shorten it, might extend it. Oh, there's a stimulus check. I haven't received my stimulus check yet, but of course, when I looked on irs.gov today, I said that it didn't have my information, which I did direct deposit both in 2018 and 2019 for both my tax returns, and it's the same bank account. I've had the same bank account probably. Excuse me. I'd say about 4 years. So, I mean, it's a good amount of time. Probably the longest I've ever had a bank account. Well, no, I've had one longer than that, but I don't want to get too much into that detail. But how it affects me, I mean, obviously I'm going to stay home. I like to go out and do things. Maybe not as much as the average extrovert would, because I feel like I feel like myself, I am on the borderline between an extrovert and an introvert. I don't mind staying inside, but if I stay inside too long, then I feel like I'm a tiger in a cage about ready to freaking snap. But I mean, you got to deal with it. Excuse me. And that was not a COVID cough. I'm a smoker. I have smoker's cough. So yeah, that's the thing. But anyways, like I said, how it's kind of affected me also is I've been working at home. We haven't worked at home. I worked at the actual job site in about a month, maybe a little bit over a month. Both.
Walmart closes at fucking 8:30.
Yeah, and Walmart closes at 8:30. That's pretty crazy.
Sucky.
Especially since that Walmart is generally a 24-hour store. Yeah, it's a 24-hour. So it does put a fork in the road. But I still get Owen. I mean, because that's still essential travel. I have to pick up and drop off my child with the help of my beautiful lady.
When she's not incapacitated. We're
not going to talk about that on my stream. Do you want me to talk about it?
No.
Okay. But I wouldn't want to talk about it on
the pain.
I'm sure. But I don't know. I guess I kind of feel humbled because before when we were working at my job, like where we had to go to the job site, I didn't really want to go to work. Like, I mean, more so than normal. Like, I would call off because my job, we have make-up time where we can make up the time as long as we, it's within the work hours that are set. We can work them and still get our hours. And I still would like cut it down to the last second, like literally like call off Monday and Tuesday and have to work all day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or hell, sometimes just all Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then miss out a couple hours on Sunday. I feel like I got more humbled now. Now I want to actually go back to work. This at-home stuff, it wasn't what I expected. I wanted to do that at home just because I thought it would be nice to do it in the comfort of my own home instead of having to go and work around people.
And not have to have work pants.
Right, and not have to wear pants. That was probably nice about the first couple of days. And then it was just like, bah. Because also the equipment that we were given to work at home wasn't working. So we're kind of using our own things for that. and it's made, at least for me, it made it a little difficult for me.
I'm just bored.
Well, because also I've told you guys before, I do work at a call center. Red works with me, so she does the same thing, and they gave us headsets, they gave us laptops, which is actually what I'm streaming on right now. They gave us laptops, gave us.
Well, we paid.
Well, we're paying for the laptops, the details, but our sound wasn't working. So pretty much now I have to use my old phone that I was using. This is my new phone that I had since October. Had that, and this is the old phone, the Stylo 4, and I've had to use this to make calls, and these headphones, which I don't know if you guys can tell if the audio is terrible right now, because for some reason only with this cell phone, it actually sounds different. I've had my calls recorded, which my job, our supervisors check the calls to make sure that we're doing our job. And I've heard that, you sound like you're in a distance. Literally the microphone's right here. But I feel like my beard keeps it's like this. I don't know if it sounds far away when I do it this way, but I feel like my beard, it sticks to my beard half the time. So like, it's just a pain in the ass to me. Like for the headset that we have for work, it's, over your head, and we have a long microphone right here so that people can hear us clearly. This is not, to me, it's not, and it's really throwing me off. Plus, not to mention the mute button on this phone is small when I had a big size thing that I can just press and turn the volume up and down. So it's proven kind of a nuisance for me, at least. I'm sure it's not. I don't know if it's as much for Danny than more so than myself, but I know it does prove a bit of an issue for me. But that's just
What's an issue?
The way we have to call now.
I don't like it.
I like having the headset and all that.
Seemed to be much clearer that way.
Yeah. So I kind of miss working at the job site. It's nice to be at home, not have to get up at, the crack of dawn to go to work, but it still, I feel like it's a nuisance more so than anything. Plus also, I miss, we can't go to Chinese buffets. All the Chinese, we can't even order Chinese. All Chinese restaurants are closed. Like, those are, right. Those are one of those things, that's one of those things that I got to at least have once a month. Either going to a buffet or at least ordering Chinese food from a restaurant. Because, it's nice. Because, Danny knows how to make some certain Chinese foods, but it's not the same. It's not the same. She's good. I don't ever want anybody to say that she's a terrible cook, because they just need to shoot themselves. I think she's a better cook than I am. And I think I held myself in high regard of how I cook and what I do cook, and whether it's good or not. But I think she's a better cook than I am. And still, it kind of gets to be an issue. Who's in the chat? It says there are 2 people, but there's nobody popping up in the participants.
It's not me.
Hello, whoever's in the chat. You left. The moment I said something, bye-bye. Who keeps on messaging me? Aren't you in the shower?
Yes. I can hear the water running.
Me. Getting laid sounds nice. Gets laid off. I should have been more specific.
Did Victor just send that you?
Yes, he did.
He's a twat upon us.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on with us. As far as how it's affected. It could be worse. I'll admit it could be worse, but it's not as bad as some people.
Well, for me, it's a little bit more stressful because of the health risks.
Right. You're not immunocompromised.
Mm-hmm.
She's immunocompromised, so it is a bit of an issue for her. But
Especially because like all the healthy people hoarded all the face masks and hand sanitizers and shit, and now I can't find them anywhere. I can't even find the material to make them.
right.
Like I've gone to 2 or 3 different stores looking just for elastic, so I can make homemade face masks, and there's no elastic to be found, and that's pretty shitty of people.
Right. And then that one time we saw when we walked to Mark's and saw that mask on the floor on the ground.
It pisses me off.
Yeah, that's quite annoying.
Or like dirty gloves left on the ground all the time and shit like that. Like, all right, anybody who sees this video, if you wear fucking gloves to the store, put a plastic bag in your vehicle and throw your gloves out when you get in your vehicle. Do not leave them outside because that just spreads the bacteria even more.
Right.
PSA rant over.
All right. Now on to the next topic, because I'm pretty sure that I've covered pretty much everything as far as what's going on with that. Well, I will say one more thing. It does kind of suck that I can't take my own child to a park that is literally like
5 feet from our door.
No, it's further than that.
Okay, no, it's
a 2-minute walk. It's a 2-minute walk, and I can't even take my child to go to that park.
It's less than 40 feet to the park.
Less than 40 feet. Yeah, that does suck because especially since he is a hyperactive child,
and he sees the park and wants to go to it.
Right. So it does suck that I can't take him to the park because he wants to go. He's made that quite known that he wants to do that. All right, so moving on to the next topic. So as far as you guys know, that me and Criss Sixx Asylum, we both do wrestling on our respective brands. Like Criss does SmackDown on YouTube, and I do Raw on Mixer. Well, just giving you guys a little heads up. Friday, we are doing a two stream day for a pay-per-view. Criss Sixx will be starting off the festivities by doing a pre-show to our Royal Rumble. That will be on his channel, which, like I said, the link is in the description. So make sure you guys are setting the sub box. It'll probably be about maybe 8 or 9 p.m. on Friday, and then maybe about an hour or so. Well, his stream will probably be about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So that would put us at 10 or 11. I got to work Friday night, so because I had to take off work to get Owen early today because his mother is sick. So we took him off of her hands. Yeah, so then I will be streaming the pay-per-view of the Royal Rumble on Mixer, which that link is also in the description. That one's probably going to be like an hour, about 2 to 3 hour stream. It's going to be a long stream because we have 14 matches, and that's including 2 Royal Rumble matches. We have a 30-man and a 30-woman Royal Rumbles. So make sure you guys are being tentative and come on and show up to show off. If you guys, and I think I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to at least promote this way. If you guys are going over to my Mixer, or you're going over to Criss Sixx Asylum or to Maximus Kane's channel, if you're learning about these people or my Mixer from this stream or from me personally, make sure you guys are commenting on the videos that you're watching them and leave a hashtag Pocket Nation on there to show them that I got the backs and that you learned about them from me. So yeah, showing up to show off. Definitely make sure you guys check out the Royal Rumble. I do believe Criss Sixx actually did a video package. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, for Royal Rumble, I'm gonna look that up and probably I'm gonna share the link in the description because Criss has been getting into that of doing video packages for our shows and pay-per-views. So let's see. Wow, come on. Where are you?
Why don't you just look up the link after the stream?
Because I'm going to put it in the chat. I have my ways. I have the reasons why I do things. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I found it. Okay. Copy and paste.
Well, they're finally saying they believe that coronavirus started in a Chinese lab.
Oh joy. But yeah, so that link is in the chat. That is the link to the Royal Rumble video package for our pay-per-view. Criss did put a good amount of work into it, so make sure you guys are going out there and make sure you guys are, like I said, leaving hashtag Pocket Nation to show them that you got them. You came over from the Pocket Nation. Okay. All right, so that was about the Royal Rumble. Now we're going to move on to the next topic, which is today 12 wrestlers got 12 wrestlers or / superstars of the WWE were released today of their contracts. I wanted to talk a little bit on that. I don't really talk about wrestling on here generally because last time I voiced my opinion, somebody got really butthurt about it. So it was about the Saudi Arabia show, actually, the first one. Crown Jewel, I think that was what it was called. And it wasn't even me. I think I did a stream about, well, that was one of the topics I talked about. And I also commented on the one video that was like talking about it, was like talking crap about it. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but I was bitching about it because it's like there was no females in the show. And I understand that Saudi Arabia they have their own rituals, their own ways and stuff like that, but it's an American show in Saudi Arabia. They can could get over it. And plus, the last Crown Jewel that they did, actually, they did have a women's wrestling match, and the women just dressed more conservative, which I think it's a good compromise. I mean,
technically, by their laws, by the laws of that country, they're not allowed to.
Whatever.
Like Saudi, up until a couple years ago, Saudi, the last 5 or 6 years, Saudi Arabian women were not allowed to even drive a car.
Right.
Like it was against the law.
Right. Anyways, so going back to the topic of wrestlers getting released, I was a little shocked about some of the people that got released. Like Rusev. I think that Rusev is a strong enough character that they could have done at least a little bit more with creative with him. Actually giving him a title. I think when he had that match with AJ Styles for the WWE Championship, I think he should have won it. Whether he kept it long or maybe to the next pay-per-view, that's a different story. But at least giving him the title, because he's done a lot of work for WWE as far as I believe he's had the no, I don't think he's had the Intercontinental Championship. He has had the United States Championship twice. He's had the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So he's had, and also he's had quite a bit of storylines where, I think he executed them well. Some other people, Drake Maverick was one of the people that got kicked or got released. I kind of see that because Vince McMahon does not hold cruiserweights in high regard unless they're cruiserweights that are like in the heavyweight championship scene or even in the mid-card title scene. As far as cruiserweights are concerned, though, like the cruiserweight division, it could have been seen because the fact of the matter is that 205 Live, I feel like it wasn't that strong of a show because the fact of the matter is literally all it was a house show, live. That's that. And, in most house shows, you won't really see title matches. You won't see a lot of storylines that are, you won't see like a lot of good storylines in there because it's literally just, it's not on TV. So it's not really like for show. I think that's how they did it with 205 Live. Did I think it was a good idea? I think that 205 Live could have been good. I think it could have been a good show if they had more talent and more storylines that could keep, people watching. And I watched 205 Live maybe for a couple of months after it started, with the whole thing with Enzo winning the Cruiserweight Championship. Well, his name's the Bastard Pac now, but he was Neville, the king of the Cruiserweights. I remember that. I do remember I did watch the last show that Neville did, and he did not look happy. He was pretty pissed, I feel like. So a lot of their strong talent weren't there. That was another thing I noticed. Like Cedric Alexander was part of the Cruiserweight division. He was Cruiserweight champion, once or twice, and then they moved him over to Raw and actually had him like in storylines. I get that, but if you're trying to keep a show, you want to keep your top talent for that show on there, at least for a little while until you can find better talent to replace them. Just like, okay, so the whole thing with Finn Balor going back to NXT, AEW was starting up, they wanted, WWE wanted to have a way of battling against AEW, Dynamite. So what they did was, they moved to Finn Balor. I feel like they added a little more story to it, but I think Triple H, I think he has the right mindset, and that's why NXT has done as good as it has, because the fact of the matter is, obviously, ultimately, Vince has the main say on NXT, but he listens to Triple H a lot about his show. I mean, because let's be honest, NXT is Triple H's baby. That was something he came up with, and he was able to, to run with it. Whether be it the fact that he is the son-in-law of the CEO or not, he still had a good idea. Brought a lot of good talent over, like Shinsuke Nakamura, repackaged Drew McIntyre, Andrade. Even some good tag teams. I'm not really a fan of the Revival, but the Revival. Enzo and Cass. Regardless of what happened with Enzo and Cass, that's water under the bridge. But when they were in NXT, they rocked the house. Asuka. I don't think Asuka's getting as much praise as she should be, because she should be up there on the top tier, more so than she has been. especially with, I mean, she had the streak. She never lost the NXT championship. She literally had to vacate it because she was going to the main roster. And they didn't make her lose it. They made her vacate it. So technically she didn't lose it. She didn't have a loss on the win-loss column. And I feel like they dragged her through the mud. But back to the main topic that we're talking about, because I kind of went on a rant about things, which is the wrestlers that getting released. I don't know if Drake Maverick should have been knocked out or released, because of the fact of the matter is he was the GM for 205 Live. The title moved over to NXT. I mean, I don't know. I think I've seen Drake Maverick through tapes, like when he was Spud. Fantastic. I mean, he's a small guy, which, I mean, like I said before, Vince doesn't really hold cruiserweights on a high regard, but still a fantastic wrestler, just like Leo Rush, which also got released. I mean, Leo Rush has won the Cruiserweight Championship. Then he lost it to Angel Garza, which ended up losing it to Jordan Devlin. Yes, I know. I'm a huge fan of cruiserweights. I mean, I grew up watching the legends, at least of my time, like Rey Mysterio, La Parka, Juventud Guerrero, where's some other Dean Malenko, even though, I mean, he kind of was more in the tag team division, but he also was a cruiserweight champion. I mean, even when they brought it over to WWE, Matt Hardy was a cruiserweight champion, which was kind of surprising. Looking back, because I kind of forgot about it, and then I saw it on his accolades, because I do look that up with certain wrestlers. I do look up their accolades, because I do wrestling streams, so a little bit of something to talk about. But yeah, I mean, the Revival got released, which that was a big surprise. I mean, because they were getting pushes for a while there. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins, I can see getting released, but that's just because of the fact of he wasn't really, they didn't pose him as a good wrestler. So, I mean, you're not, you keep on, portraying somebody as shit. They're going to keep on being looked at as shit. But Zack Ryder, I mean, I think Zack Ryder put a lot of work to even get the accolades that he has, like the United States Championship, the Intercontinental Championship. He's had the Raw Tag Team Championships twice with Hawkins, actually. They've had the World Tag Team Championships, both Hawkins and Ryder, when they were part of the Edgeheads, with being the tag team for Edge's little faction. It's crazy. Because, like, it's when you look at it, people who have been with the company for years. I mean, Zack Ryder was with the company for 15 years. Same thing with like Kurt Angle, although I think he was definitely in the back. So I mean, back people I can kind of see. You don't really, when you're minimizing your size of your roster, you don't really need as much staff to cover it or whatever. But Finley, that was definitely a shock to me, because as far as I know, he was really big in the back. So that was definitely a surprise. I'm trying to think who else. No Way Jose got cut. Trying to think who else got the boot. Chelsea Green, I think, got booted. Zack Ryder's girlfriend, who was in NXT, I think she got the boot as well. But it's crazy because, like, going back to Drake Maverick, again, Vince doesn't hold cruiserweights in high regard. If you're a small guy, it don't matter if you're, jacked as a small guy, you're not going to get the pushover that you're going to need. And Drake Maverick got pushed to the mud. I mean, with the whole thing with the 24/7 championship, basically saying that he wouldn't be able to consummate his marriage if he didn't win the championship or didn't keep the championship or whatever. That I thought was a little distasteful. And I think that kind of like screwed Drake Maverick on that whole front. But to see the emotion, because he posted a video up on Twitter. If I can ever think to find it, I'll post it in the chat. Because that was super emotional. I didn't cry, which I generally do when I see people cry on video or watch movies and stuff like that. I'm a bit of a mushy guy sometimes. But like I can feel the emotion. Like that dude was, he knew his stuff, his life was going to be changing for maybe, I don't know if it was for the better or not, because the crazy thing, and I think who was it? I think Finn Balor had talked about it on Twitter as well. It is harder now because the fact of the matter is you get released. You know, generally speaking, cutting out the whole thing of the COVID-19. Generally speaking, when you get released, there's other promotions you can go to. Right now, with the current state of things, as far as dealing with the COVID-19 and with all the restrictions, most independent shows, they're not doing anything. I think Impact stopped doing it. Pretty sure AEW is not taking any more talent, even though they are televised.
Yeah, because I don't know if they're going to completely shut down, so nobody wants to bring new people on.
Yep.
Plus press conferences and shit like that when somebody signs on new. Nobody wants to do press conferences with fucking coronavirus.
Right. I will say that is pretty messed up, though. They still have Drake Maverick wrestling for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship in a tournament. But honestly, from what I've seen, he's not guaranteed to win. He's probably not going to win it because he said he had 3 more shows to do. So I'm assuming it's a round robin tournament, but he said that he was done. They said they weren't going to keep continuing. I mean, I've seen things change in the past. I mean, there have definitely been known accounts where, title matches change. Like, I think the match between Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, I believe Undertaker was supposed to win that match. Now, that wasn't a title match, but it was for the streak at WrestleMania. I think that Undertaker had gotten hurt, and literally last minute, Vince said, "All right, Brock, you're winning. Let's cut it out now." So, plus also, I think there was a couple other matches I cannot remember at this moment, but I know that there have been title changes, like, because obviously we all know, if you're not knowing this, I'm sorry to ruin this for you, but wrestling is predetermined. The WWE, AEW, all that, it is all predetermined. Sorry to burst your bubble if you didn't know. Although with technology these days, it's kind of hard not to know that. But yeah, so there have been times where, at least in WWE, they have changed the outcome mid-match or close to the end of the match. Whether it be the crowd was behind the person that was supposed to lose, or stuff of that nature. So it's possible, especially with him doing that video of an outcry of him crying and stuff like that, might change minds of Vince McMahon. It's too hard to tell right now. Basically, we just have to go with what we got. So I've talked enough about the wrestlers getting released. Wow, we are already done 45 minutes. That's surprising, especially since I don't have anybody in the stream. But I have a lot of knowledge of wrestling, so that's kind of a topic that I can probably talk for hours. Trust me, Criss, Sixx, and I have done that over the phone, talking about wrestling. It's crazy. But anyways, so the next topic is going to be, I guess you could say, my Netflix pick of the week. That is something that I did do in hashtag Pocket Nation, so I figured I wasn't gonna, get rid of that part. My Netflix, well, it's more of the streaming service pick of the week. It's on Netflix. It is The Big Show. I know I'm kind of staying on the topic of wrestling this stream, just because I watched it this morning. I watched the first couple episodes this morning, and they were pretty good. A little corny, but with the style of the show, you would imagine it couldn't be any different. Although I did think it's kind of weird that the wife calls Big Show or Show. Don't know how I quite feel about that, especially since his real name is Paul White, and it was supposed to be, and I feel like it's kind of like he's going based off of true stuff in his life, because he's talked about things that he's done. Like in a couple episodes that I did watch, he talked about some of the stuff that he had to deal with, or like, funny stuff in the back, with Mick Foley and stuff like that. So it kind of surprises me that they wouldn't call him Paul. If I'm not mistaken, let me look. I know obviously Big Show is not his real name, but I do believe his name is actually Paul White. Yeah, Paul White II. So it kind of surprises me that they don't call him, that his wife doesn't call him Paul. But I guess it just depends on the nicknames in a relationship. But Danny calls me Scott or Scotty or babe or asshole or other derogatory names.
You like the derogatory names.
They're kind of funny sometimes, yes. But yeah, so it kind of surprises me, but I do like the show. I'm not going to say that though. But I could see myself watching the first season at least, just because growing up, I watched WCW and more so WCW, and then when WCW got bought out, I watched WWF or WWE, now. So I grew up watching The Big Show. I watched him when his literal first in-ring name in WCW was the Giant. I watched the episode that was his in-ring debut. So I've watched his career. I can't say I've followed it completely because I don't watch every bit of wrestling that goes on or has come on, because especially since most of my life I haven't had cable. So there's times where I'd miss out. That's why I like when Criss will be like, oh yeah, they've done, certain people. Oh yeah, they've done that. They did that a long time ago. Really? Yeah, it was around this time. Oh yeah, I didn't have cable that time, so I wouldn't know. But I would watch him pay-per-views because Criss, that was mine and Criss, mine and Chris's big things as teenagers and young adults, is that we watched wrestling pay-per-views like WrestleMania, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. On those days I'd made sure I didn't work that day, and I had my mom bring me over there to watch it, and my mom would go hang out with his mom and her girlfriend, and then me and Criss would be in the room watching wrestling, most likely had pizza, also had popcorn. So it was pretty nice. So that is definitely a memory for myself. But yeah, I've watched almost every single gimmick that Big Show has had. He's not my favorite wrestler, but he, as far as if I had to do a top 20 favorite wrestlers, he'd definitely be up there. I don't know. He actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, he actually might be in the top 10. Because usually when I do my top 10s of favorites, I usually go based off of like the longevity that I've watched them and like what I liked about them. Especially since now more so than than when I was younger, I'm older. I understand the business a little bit more. I understand a little bit of the business side of it more. Just because nowadays, interviews, they talk about the business, they talk about how creative can be and all that. So kind of like got a little bit of a gist of it. So now more so lately, I have been a little more critical about my choices of who I like to watch wrestling. But yeah, so definitely leave it. I just got off topic about it. So make sure you guys are, if you have Netflix, actually the Big Show actually started, I want to say it hit Netflix Monday or Tuesday of this week. So, I mean, it's rather fresh. So, I mean, if you want to get in the know, make sure you guys watch it. Also, little plug. Also, make sure you guys are following Criss, Sixx, Asylum, and Maximus Kane. Again, their links are in the description. They do wrestling content and other things. Yeah, they do. Yeah, Criss Sixx does other things, more so wrestling nowadays. But I mean, he does do other things, and I believe Maximus Kane does wrestling. I think he does. He does like first person shooter games on Mixer, so that's something. All right, so moving on to our last topic, since we're almost an hour in, a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but I had a lot more to talk about. So make sure you guys are also checking out other things that I do. I might actually put my streaming schedule in the description after I get done. Once I end this stream, because that'll probably help you guys as far as like knowing when to come in to watch the shows. Just understand, pretty much make sure you guys got to hit that notification bar. If you guys are wanting to come into my streams, and make sure you guys are there for my streams, make sure you guys are hitting that notification bar too, because I generally stream at night. So, and it varies on time. Sometimes it's at 9 p.m. Sometimes it's at 10. Sometimes it's at 11. I have started streams at midnight. So make sure you guys are hitting that notification bar. If anything, you can always watch it later. I obviously have streamed for an hour, almost an hour, so I don't expect you guys to watch it this far. But if you have watched it this far, thank you. You are one of the very few people that actually do that. So I do appreciate you. What I was trying to get into was my Pokemon Crystal Pocket Lock. I think what I'm going to start doing as far as YouTube streaming is, I think, because I have designated Wednesdays, which today's Wednesday, so that tells you Wednesdays and Saturdays to do YouTube. So I think what I might do is like do 2 streams of Pokemon. So like 1 week will be Pokemon, and then the next week will be hashtag Pocket Nation, and then the next week will be two Pokemon, and then 2 hashtag Pocket Nation the next week. Just because the only way I can see myself not doing another hashtag Pocket Nation like this Saturday is if I don't have really much to talk about. I generally like to talk. I usually like to have content to talk about when I do these. So that's kind of why I haven't done it the last couple of times since I implemented my new schedule. So that is definitely a thing. Yeah, so Wednesdays and Saturdays, I will be on here anywhere between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. Obviously, I started a little bit after 11 p.m. today just because of things. But that's where the whole notification bar will help out. because it'll, let you know when I start streaming. And honestly, even if you guys watch 15 minutes of my streams, I'm all good with it. Just make sure you guys are leaving comments in the comment section. Let me know that you actually watched it. That'd be appreciated. So with the whole thing with Pokemon Crystal Pocket Lock, I do have a link in the description for the playlist. We have 2 streams that we've done so far. Also, if you guys want a Pokemon named after you, make sure you guys are leaving comments on my streams. Honestly, I'll even consider doing, if you leave a comment on Pocket Nation, hashtag Pocket Nation, I will use your name as a person for a Pokemon. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. I've watched multiple YouTubers do it that way. So generally when I do a stream or Pokemon in general, or just in general, if you get like characters that you can use later on, you can rename, which Pokemon's a really big thing on it. I usually name my Pokemon after subscribers, people who comment in videos, to get you guys involved. So like I said, comment in the description, or the playlist for Pokemon Crystal Pocket Lock is in the link for the playlist is in the description. So make sure you guys are watching that, staying up to date with what we've been doing. So yeah, I'm going to end off the stream here. We've hit almost the hour mark and there's nobody in the stream, but I've had a lot of talk about. I'm ready to stop talking and spend time with my girlfriend. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join the Pocket Nation. Also, make sure you guys are leaving comments in the comment section. Let me know that you actually watched the stream because that is greatly appreciated. And yeah, share with your friends. Help build the Pocket Nation. And I have been your host, Scotty Pockets, and I'll see you guys in the next stream.